Hey guys, welcome to another video from Historic Militaria. Today we're going to be looking at a very typical Red 9 Mauser broomhandle, and this one was made in about 1917 by Mauser as part of a 150,000 gun contract for the Imperial German Army during World War I. Not all the guns were delivered. Probably about 140,000 were made, and Mauser just decided they weren't going to finish the rest off. As a matter of fact, the last several tens of thousands don't even seem to have gone to the German military. They kind of showed up in Scandinavia and a lot of other places, so Mauser made some commercial sales of those to other folks who had hard currency at the time. Anyway, let's just jump into it and kind of look at some of the interesting stamps and whatnot that you'll see on a typical Red 9. And this one's got a few things that may not be completely typical. So the first thing you're going to notice are the Red 9 grips, and almost all, not all, but almost all, will have this deep red 9 on them. Some of them will have a black 9, but that's pretty uncommon and seems to have been field applied versus these, which are actually factory applied. The grips will almost always be matched to the gun by serial number. So when you take these off, they'll actually have at least part of the serial number repeated on the back of them. Other than that, it's a very standard Mauser broom handle from this time period. You've got your typical heavy machine markings with a really thin blue. Certainly not the kind of polish and sort of sheen of the rust blue that you're going to see on commercial Mausers before or after World War I. And this one has definitely seen some service. You've got your Crown U acceptance mark right there, which is standard on all broom handles. And your serial number is going to be right there. This one is right about in the middle of production, so you can kind of see Mauser was in a hurry. This one, the serial number is not even straight on the barrel flat, it's just kind of stamped on there. You've got your chamber marking, with everything else being standard, with your 500 meter rear sight, which is standard for your Red 9 contract. This was not the first time Mauser had used a 500 meter rear sight, but all these guns, or almost all these guns, should have a 500 meter rear sight. If you see a Red 9 that doesn't, it's a good chance that rear sight was replaced. Also, you've got what's called the NS safety, or new type safety, where up was safe and then down would be fire. And it's kind of a complicated safety in that when you cock your hammer, you actually can't put the gun on safe one-handed. So you'd cock it and you'd actually have to then rock the hammer back with one finger and with your other hand apply the safety, which doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, but Mauser did that, and they used that system for quite some time. Your hammers on all Red 9s are going to be marked with an NS. That stands for new safety, and the serial number, as always, is repeated a number of times on the gun. And turning this one over, again, your really heavy machine markings. Obviously, this gun was in a hurry to be made to get it out into the field for a soldier to use. Was not going to look good in a gun store for a potential paying customer. It was going to the military, and that's all that mattered, was it was going to shoot. This one is a little bit interesting also, in that right here, you have a mark that is a German Imperial acceptance mark, and you'll find that on a number of Red 9s, and also broom handles made during this time period will often have it, even though they are so-called commercial guns. They were just means that this was used by the Imperial German Army as a wartime gun. And this one goes even a step further. If you look at the front of the magazine well, it actually has, if my camera will focus, an Imperial German eagle right there on the front of the magazine well. You will see this on some Red 9s. It's not terribly uncommon to see this, but it is something that a lot of collectors do like to see, and it almost always will appear right there on the front of the magazine well. And not really sure why it was added, but it's just kind of an extra, I guess, symbol of German nationality and just make the gun that much more patriotic. So this is a very typical gun that would have been issued to a German soldier during World War I in pretty much the same state as it was issued. It's never been altered. It wasn't shortened for the Treaty of Versailles or anything like that. So it's survived in this condition since World War I. As always, if you've got a Red 9, I'd love to hear about it. So like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends, and always be watching out for more videos. Thanks for watching.